Episode 90 of Gimme the Hot Sauce is up and running from the Hustle and Flow studios in beautiful Palatine, Illinois. Stacey King is in the house for the second week in a row. His attitude is back, 100% energy. How you feeling, Stace?
Listen, Mark, don't act like you're surprised I'm back, okay? Okay, you knew I was coming back. You knew it, okay? America, I'm back, okay? Your boy's back. I'm back to full strength. I will never be in my house again doing it from
there you go.
Remotely. I don't like it. I feel confined. I don't feel like I'm part of the show. And then, Timmy Whispers takes up too much control when I'm not here. He sits in my chair. He sits in my spot. And he does talk a little bit more than when I'm not here. So. And
Whispers has got the kegs reloaded again. So good reloaded. For you. Yeah. The gold star for Timmy Whispers.
Keeps me going.
Hey, want to say hi to all our friends who are following the live stream on Twitch and YouTube. We appreciate that. Always trying to grow that audience. We've got poll questions. We'll interact with you throughout the show. So our guy, Matty Ice, is monitoring the Twitch stream. If you got any questions, send them along, and Stacy will be more than happy to answer. And one of the topics I know that's been really hot for Bulls fans this week is the one and only Draymond Green, who is trying to compete with us with his own podcast there, trying to dredge up controversy, Stacy, by saying that the Golden State Warriors of 2016-2017, that was the team that had Kevin Durant on it, the first of the two championships they won with KD, would easily defeat the 97-98 Bulls. He said he watched a re-air of one of the championship games and said, we'd have walked all over that squad. Your response?
Puff, puff, pass. Whatever he's smoking, put it down, okay? America. I'm not one of these guys that can compare eras, because you can't. It's nice. Yeah. It's nice to have those discussions, and legitimate players who played in these eras. No one gets into those those conversations. It's like, hey, look, you know what? You can't take anything away from anybody who won championships, before Golden State, because they played in a different era. This is how they played. Boom, boom, boom. But to sit up there and say that you would have wiped the Bulls. I mean, I even heard last night say they beat them by like 30. And I'm like, okay, he's capped now. It's all capped now because there's no way you believe this. And here's my thought process on this. This is coming from an ex-player, okay? I'm just giving you objective. This is what I see, okay? The three-point game, if you're going to play in today's rules, Golden State has a clear advantage, okay? They have a clear advantage because this is the way the pace of the game is totally different. But there's no way in the world if you don't think the Bulls would make the adjustment to be able to play that style of play. Here's the problem, and this is where Draymond Green doesn't understand. Steph Curry is a great shooter in this game, okay? But he's still 6'3". Klay Thompson is 6'7". Draymond Green is not an offensive force, okay? Kevin Durant on that team is an offensive force. So those are your three best players, and then Draymond Green is you sprinkle him in as your fourth best player, right? Would you say that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
Okay. This is Michael Jordan, 6'6", at the two guard. Your point guard is Ron Harper at 6'6". Your small forward is 6'7", Scottie Pippen. Your power forward is Dennis Rodman. Your center is Luke Longley. But you remember, if you want to play small ball, you can rotate Tony Kukoc in. Now you play Tony as your stretch four, and you move Dennis Rodman to the 5 spot. Now you easily match up with Golden State because defensively you can switch every single one of those players on the floor. Steph Curry would not get the same shots that he gets. Go back to that series with Memphis this year. If Ja Morant doesn't get hurt, Memphis wins that series. And what made Memphis even have a chance against Golden State? The physicality. They took it to Golden State. They played them physical. They were knocking them around. Golden State had no answers for the physicality. So imagine bringing those 98 Bulls that won 72 games and give them a little bit of the physicality. Let them play like Memphis played. There's no way in the world Golden State wins that game. If they were playing a 7-game series, Bulls, I guarantee you, Bulls win 4 out of 6 easily.
So would you have Harper guarding Steph Curry, or would you let Michael take him?
No, you let Ron Harper play him. Here's what happens. The length of the Bulls would give them problems, okay? Because the Bulls are so long and athletic, they can contest the three-point shot. Steph Curry would have to score. He'd have to hit 10 threes every game for them to even have a chance to beat the Bulls. But you got to also remember, Steph Curry on defense cannot be hidden. like he is in this league. They hide Steph Curry defensively. He's gotten much better defensively over the last couple of years. He's gotten much better. But they do a good job of hiding him defensively in their defensive sets, okay? So you come back on the other end. You're telling me that anybody on their team can guard Michael Jordan? Absolutely not. You're telling me if Steph Curry is guarding Ron Harper, you don't think the Bulls and Phil Jackson are going into the post to post him up and make them have to double team? No. And if you don't think Scotty is going to impact the game on both ends, you're sadly mistaken. That's going to happen. Tony Kukoc, who's going to guard him? Draymond Green? Tony Kukoc will kill him. I mean, the versatility of Tony getting the ball off the glass, taking up, and they could play the same kind of pace that Golden State plays. They have an advantage, I'm not going to lie, with the three-point shooting. But there's no way in the world. Draymond Green is self-checked. Dennis Rodman would take him completely out of the game, just out of the mind games, like you see Draymond Green doing everybody else.
There'd be a lot of technicals in that matchup.
Draymond Green would get.
How many minutes?
You remember the series when Draymond Green kicked LeBron and because LeBron got into his head?
Right, suspended.
Imagine what Dennis Rodman would do to Draymond Green.
He drove Karl Malone nuts in that series.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So for him to say that, I mean, I can go down the list. Can we put those lists up? Team, can we put up the list? America, I want you to see this list, okay?
What's the over-under on just 6 minutes for the technical into the game?
Where's my list?
Right off the opening tip,
Okay,
he tried to get in Draymond's head. There's no question about it. That was Rodman especially. At that point, he had slowed down. His physical gifts weren't there, but mentally, he could take almost any star player out of it with his antics.
Well, and like I said, for Draymond Green.
There's your list, Stace.
See, Draymond Green, let me see your list over here, Mark, because my computer's not working. Okay, look at these teams right here. You got the Bulls 95-96 team, the 97-98 team. Those two teams could have been back-to-back 70-win teams, okay? Golden State, I give them the third-ranked best team in this list that I came up with. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying, I'm saying they're number 3, but any of these teams I think could have beaten them because of the fact, you go look at, let's just take a team. Number 10, Houston Rockets. Olajuwon himself is dominating.
Nobody's guarding Olajuwon.
Olajuwon himself is dominating this series, okay? And you got to remember, Houston had great three-point shooters. So they would have been able to play in this particular era, okay? Kenny Smith, Mario Elliott. They also defended. You had a shot blocker in Hakeem in the back. That team is good. You can look at any of those Spurs teams that could have competed. The Miami Heat with LeBron and the Heatles when they won their first championship. So for him to say that they're the best team, the greatest team of all time is a joke because any of these teams that I have on this list here would have given them problems. What about they played Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in those 80 Laker teams, right. Showtime Lakers, and they were playing at a high pace. They were playing at a very high today's kind of level pace. Who stops Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Who guards Magic? Who stops Byron Scott, James Worthy? There's a lot of teams. So when you're starting to compare eras, it's better just to say, hey, look, we are the best team in our era. If you want to say that, then you have an argument. There's no argument there.
The only thing I could say from a devil's advocate point, I would never side with Draymond Green or anything, but he may have watched one game. There were some low-scoring games in that series. Remember, Scotty hurt his back in that series, and he was kind of hampered by that. So maybe he saw the pace at which it was being played, and Utah not looking on, because he said they'd beat Utah by 40.
No,
and
Karl Malone would foul him out. He would not even be a factor with the way the Jazz play. The Jazz with the pick and roll. I mean, the Jazz played the way they play now, 95% pick and roll. How you gonna stop Karl Malone? They had shooters. Jeff Hornacek and those guys were shooters out there. But here's the thing about all this, Mark, is that we live in this society of what have you done lately? People forget how good that these teams that I had on that list were during those times. Those teams were dominant. When you talk about a team winning 65, 67 games, I go back to the 91-92 Bulls team that finished like 67 and 15, I think. And that team in the playoffs was dominant. We only lost 2 playoff games. It's 15-2. We could have won 70+ games, but Phil said, hey, we're not going for 72 wins because we don't want to win 72 and then be tired going into the playoffs. So he pulled off the gas a little bit. But that was a dominant team, and that was Michael Jordan at his highest of superpowers. That was Scottie Pippen at his highest of superpowers. So come on, man. Like I said, it's great to have these little debates, but let's not be.
It's always tough to compare eras. That's like people putting together their list of the top 50 players or whatever in the NBA, and they forget about Jerry West and Oscar Robertson, like they couldn't play, like they were busters.
Like JR, like what's his name? JR, what's the guy, the little shooter?
JJ Redick. Yeah, so they're plumbers.
Oh, they're plumbers. Like, man, and Jerry West went to task on that.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing when I hear people talk about Larry Bird in this era of guys. Oh, Larry Bird could have done this. Larry Bird could have done that. Let me tell you something. Larry Bird would have bust these dudes' ass.
Yeah, that's right.
Larry Bird, healthy Larry Bird in his prime. What player, Mark, could go? This is how bad Larry Bird is, America. Go look it up if you think I'm lying. This is how cold Larry Bird was. He tells you before he goes in the game, I'm going to shoot nothing but left-hand shots. I'm not going to shoot with my right hand. I'm going to shoot the whole game left-handed and get like 30 or 40 points with his left hand, and they won. He told a team, I don't know which team it was, but he told the team, it might have been Portland, but he says, hey, you know what, tonight, I'm just going to shoot with my left hand.
I'm going to kill you anyway.
Think about what player in this game could actually say that and play 4 quarters with their left hand and score 30 or 40 points with it. That tells you how bad Larry Bird was.
And just go back to Jerry West point. He was voted the MVP of the finals in 1969 when they lost the series in 7 games to Boston. That's how good Jerry West was. He led the league in scoring and assists. He ain't the logo for nothing,
and
folks.
He's a logo. Yeah. And he's a damn logo that's been on there since the turn of time. So you better put some respect on Jerry West's name.
So if all you know, Jerry West is that bad actor portrayal in Winning Time on HBO. That ain't Jerry West, my friends. He could play.
Yeah, Jerry West was the real deal.
One thing before we move on, one thing that was kind of funny in this, Kevin Durant is definitely going dark this summer because he doesn't want to get involved with the trade talks. But he actually responded with a tweet saying that the one thing I know for sure, he says, I'm not saying who'd win or anything, but Coach Steve Kerr would have put player Steve Kerr in all kinds of pick and rolls,
Well, let me tell you something. Just like they hired Steph Curry, they would have hired Steve Kerr. Listen, the Bulls, Phil Jackson and Johnny Kerr and all the coaches that were on those championship teams had ways to make sure that you didn't get exposed. John Paxson wasn't the quickest guy, but you go back and look at some of those videos of John Paxson, he wasn't getting beat off the dribble.
And he was feisty.
And those were some Hall of Fame guards being played back then.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, and so you can say whatever you want. Steve Kerr would have been able to exist out there. Plus, he would have been a 3-point threat for the Bulls. And I'm telling you, Luke Longley would have given them problems in the post because of his size and his strength. I'm telling you right now, they don't beat the Bulls. I don't care what era. I don't care what era they want to play in, because you definitely weren't going to beat them in the 90s. So you might as well just put that to bed. Because if Memphis had you on the run here in this era, imagine what any of those teams would have done to you in this era.
What would be your ranking of the 6 Bulls championship teams? Obviously, you played on the first 3. The 95-96 team won 72 games. I think that's hard to argue against them. But where would you put one of your squads?
I would probably say the 91-92 team would probably be third, because the 72 and 10 team is the pinnacle. That's the best team. Okay, they won the championship. They 72 wins. The second year, that was it 97-98.
The second year was 96-97. They won 69 games, and then they won.
And they could have won 70.
Yeah, they lost the last game to New York.
Exactly. So they could have won 70. So I would probably put that one number 2. But I would say our 91-92 team that was so dominant that year. And if it wasn't for Phil Jackson, I'm telling Phil saw something that we didn't see as players. And he's like, hey, we had a chance. All the players were like, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's do it. Because it was history at the time. No one has even been close. We would have been the first team to do it. And Phil's like, nope, championships more important. We don't want to wear ourselves out chasing 72 wins. That means Michael has to play more than what I want to play him, especially towards the end of the year. Scotty has to play more. Bill Cartwright has to play more. So no, we're gonna do what we got to do. We're all about winning championships. And we went 15-2 in the playoffs. Only lost 2 games in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a debate that's going to go on for as long as people are watching basketball. Yeah. But obviously, Stacy was a part of 3 fantastic championship teams. And Draymond Green can think what he wants, but the defense of those Bulls teams would have shut down their backcourt.
Well, and this is also coming from a guy who's asking for the max right now. And now Golden State's going to have their hands full when it comes
again,
time
puff, pass.
Yeah, puff, pass. Listen, you're going to talk about – listen, hey, Draymond Green, there's some people think Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer, okay? I'm not one of them. I think he's a player that if you took Steph Curry off of Golden State and put him on any team, he's still a Hall of Famer. If you take Klay Thompson off that team, he's still going to be a Hall of Famer because the way he scores. But at Draymond Green, you put him on any team, he's a regular player.
Right.
He's a regular. He'll still rebound. But we saw what Golden State when all those guys were off and he was the main guy. It was quadruple singles. I mean, he wasn't that guy he is now. He benefits from playing with these great players. He benefits from that. And so I think that's why he thinks he's a max player. I think a lot of people at Golden State and their fan base thinks he's a max player. But I feel like if you give him max dollars and he's getting ready to go into the later part of his career, you're going to regret that contract at the end of when it comes down to the last 2 or 3 years of that contract.
All right, Whispers, what's your number one Bulls championship team? Which one would you pick?
All three that Stacy was on.
Yes.
Oh, he knows where his bread is buttered.
1, 2, 3. Just like the banner say madness.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Whispers is loyal through and through.
Oh,
That's a friend right there.
You know what? Friend to the end, baby.
There you
Friend
go.
to the end. Just like
30 years of abuse, and he still comes through when it matters.
That's how we do it, Mark.
See America. Mark's Yoko Ono.
There you go.
Trying to break up the Beatles up over here.
He already knew my answer, too.
Yeah, see, that's loyalty, though.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to ask you. But he asked you anyway, and I'm glad that you responded the way you did. You're my guy, man. Hey, friends for life.
Hey, we got something different coming up for you. We're going to take a deep dive into the mental approach to athletics with Dr. Wendy Borlabi, who is the head of sports performance and mental health for the Chicago Bulls. She's going to join us after a break. Before we do that, we want to check in with our good buddy Jeff Vukovich, one of the most loyal Bulls fans out there. He supports all the Chicago sports teams. So when it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure that you contact the king of insurance, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich, our good friend at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And Stacy.
Nationwide is on your side. Woo!
Stacy in fine form here on a beautiful Thursday.
That's for
Weather
you,
is
America.
perfect,
That's for you,
and
America.
we are going to talk to Dr. Wendy Borlabi. That's next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Welcome back. Episode 90 of Gimme the Hot Sauce rolls on. It is now our pleasure to welcome in this week's special guest, Dr. Wendy Borlabi. She is the head of sports performance and mental health for the Chicago Bulls. Thank you so much for joining us. And there's been so much talk, particularly in the last decade or so, about the importance of the mental side of athletic performance. I know Kevin Love is one of the NBA players who've really come out and broken ground in terms of being upfront in some of his issues. How important is it, the mental component, to an athlete's success in the world of professional sports?
Well, first I want to say thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I got to give a quick shout out to our Midwest City fans. So I know they'll be paying attention. Go Bombers. You know that, Stacy. I had to put it out there.
I know you did.
Honestly, the mental health piece, I think it's one of those it's very important. It's always been there. We just didn't talk about it until recently.
Right.
And now it's becoming a topic that's been talked about. So it seems like it's something new, but it's not. I mean, it's something that athletes have dealt with, and Stacy, this playing, something they dealt with their entire careers. But now that players are talking about it, it's becoming okay. And so now it's, that piece where we can actually have those conversations where it's not a taboo. It's just real life. It's just real life.
Yeah, I think, going back to when I played, I think the one thing that, guys in my era, we didn't talk about it. Like, guys just dealt with whatever we had coming our way, didn't feel comfortable talking about, because there's things outside of basketball that don't involve basketball. You got everyday life that, everyone goes through. And I think sometimes, the fans just see the athlete and think that, they make a lot of money, deal with it. They don't understand that we have the same kind of problems that they do, and that we're going through the same kind of things that they do.
Absolutely. The way I like to tell people when we talk about what it is that I do is I tell them to think about their job. They're going into the office and they've had a fight with their significant other. The kids spit up on them. They're late. They had to make, whatever dessert or cake for the third grade picnic. They get to work. They don't feel good and they still have to produce, but only have 2 or 3 people watching them. The same situation happens for professional athletes, but now they have millions of people critiquing their job. That's the difference. It's not just 2 or 3 people. Now you got millions of people critiquing you, and you still have your everyday life functions that happen that affect you.
How difficult is it for you to win over the confidence of athletes? You know, as Stacy mentioned, you got the macho component. Guys are proud, and they don't want to talk about personal issues. Is it a difficult process at times to try to convince an athlete that you're just there to help him, and then you can really improve his performance if they want to share with you?
Sure. Yes, it is. It's actually a long, I think I view it as a long process because I like for it to happen organically. There's no pressure. I don't want anybody, I don't want it to be, oh, you need to go talk to Dr. B or this is going on. I just need to be around. And the more that I'm around, the more conversation, just regular everyday conversation happens. And then you start to have those other kind of conversations about what's going on. And that just takes time. And it just takes the ease of me being there and for them to understand that I have no, as they say, no skin in the game. I have nothing to do with your contract, your playing time, nothing at all. I'm literally just there to have conversation, hang out with you. And so, and that just takes time for that to happen. And so the longer, should I say, the more I'm around, that maybe the sooner it happens, but it just takes me being there and for it to happen organically.
I think, just speaking for myself, I always looked at it as being like, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need to talk to someone. I'll just talk to my friends. And one thing that I found out when you talk to your friends, they're going to tell you everything that you want to hear.
Like Whispers just did.
Yeah, that's a call for it. Oh no, that's a call for it. But you know what I'm talking about though, Wendy. When you talk, when you have a problem, you go to a friend, and that friend's just going to agree with everything you say and not give you a biased opinion and really try to help you. They're just going to say, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't do this. Yeah, da. I found out when you I've gone to a therapist to talk about certain things that I can't talk to my friends about because I just don't want to get that yes man, that yes all the time. And it's refreshing, because I think the stigma is I don't want to go talk to a psychiatrist. I don't want to go sit on someone's couch. You're not really sitting on anybody's couch or laying on the couch like they used to see on TV. You're actually sitting in a controlled environment that is like you feel safe. You feel like you can honestly. I felt like I could honestly be myself and let this person know some of the things I'm dealing with and get a different perspective. And then when I gone a few times, I felt 1,000 times better and been able to work through some things that maybe that was difficult.
But I didn't think he could handle the truth, Dr. B. That was the problem.
Wow.
He turned on you, Stacy.
See, we're over having a professional conversation in America, and here we got this guy. Has anybody got the shock collar, please, so I can shock him? Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Dr. B. I'm sorry for
we apologize for Whispers.
No, but I'm gonna piggyback on what he said about the truth because that's exactly what it is. It's the truth, and in order to have those conversations, they got to be ready for those hard truths. Not everybody likes to have the mirror in front of them, right? Where you got to look at yourself and have those conversations. And so back to what I was saying before is that when it happens with me, it's just organic. We're talking about, lunch, basketball, some sporting event, a movie, their significant other. We're talking about nothing, and then that gradually moves into those conversations about what's going on with them. And then we had those conversations, like you're saying, where it's truth and honesty. So I'm not the yes man. I'm not going to say yes. That's great. No, I'm not going to say on that. I'm going to give you the truth. And then you're going to have to answer those questions for yourself. And then I think for me, that's one of those tests to see if they were really interested in making a movement. Because when I put it back on you, do you want to come back and have another conversation, or do you want to go, okay, I'm done? That was let's go back to talking about nonsense, because I don't want her to, tell me the real stuff and we push and try to fight through that. And that happens. And it takes time for that to come back and forth because we are not all ready to hear the truth. Absolutely. And so when you're ready, that's when you start to make the movements.
From a practical standpoint, if an athlete, obviously you're working with the Chicago Bulls, if an athlete would come to you and say, I'm really struggling with my focus at the free throw line, I'm thinking about too many things and I can't zero in on exactly what is the most important thing, which is just focusing on making the shot. Do you emphasize visualization, positive type of things, or what is the process in trying to help an athlete erase some self-doubt?
Sure. So visualization is a great tool. Absolutely. I'm on the side of that. I don't want to stop all the negative. I want you to just to let it pass through, because I think it takes a lot of energy to get you to stop thinking all the negative thoughts. I like to think of your head you're like a tunnel. So whatever the negative thought comes through, let's let it pass through and let's bring some positive right behind it. So I'm trying to get you to to think about, focus on the positive, probably even get you to remember some things. We can use the visualization as a memory. We can also use video to help remember how you've done something or handled situations. But I just want to bring all the positive we can right behind the negative, as instead of having you use all of that energy to stop the negative, because that makes you tired as well, right? So that's the way that I like to view it. And then want to be able to use any tool. I mean, I want to personalize it to the athlete, to the player. So just depending on who they are and what they're, how they like to use. If it's music is a real great tool. Something that makes you laugh is even better. If I can get you to laugh, some kind of memory that gets you to laugh. And so we kind of put that in there to your toolbox, because that helps to change it. Also, deep breathing is a great tool as well that helps work. A lot of players want quotes, or even just maybe a Bible verse. It's the way that I view it is anything that's going to help you get yourself out of that negative and bring the positive right in. But we don't want to just focus on stopping the negative.
The one thing I've been noticing over the last few years are more and more, not just athletes, but movie stars. People are coming out and they're not being afraid to put themselves out there and say, hey, look, I need some help. You know, I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. I was just watching a UFC fight this past weekend. Paddy Pimblett, who's one of the top fighters in UFC, he was fighting with a heavy heart because one of his close friend, who he didn't know was going through something. You know, and they're close. They talked about everything, boom. But he did not know that his friend was going through this depression that ended up taking his life. And he made this passionate speech afterwards, you know, when it was a big moment for him. He won a huge fight. And the first thing he brought up was, you know, the mental health issue and how people need to take that seriously and try to, you know, listen and be there for the people who may be struggling. So I was it really rocked me when he said that, you know, and we don't know what people go through. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes in someone's home. So how can you recognize something like, you know, you're a doctor, but like if my friend like Tim is going through something, like how would someone like me recognize that he is struggling with depression? Or
just look at him. You can
Wendy, see what I'm talking about here? This is a serious topic, and these two clowns are taking shots. Okay, I just gave a passionate speech, and then Mark Shinowski.
You know what's funny, Mark? I was about to say, just look at me.
Okay, Wendy, they got off the track again. I'm going back. I'm bringing the train back to the track.
Come on back.
Come on back now. So how can, and without looking at whispers, how could I, as just his friend, what would be the signs? What would be something that would tell me that, hey, he's struggling with depression. He's struggling, because you as a doctor, you would know. You would be able to you know, just by talking to him for an hour, you would probably be able to pick it up. But the regular person, someone's friend, would not. So what easy thing, or what thing could I do that I could recognize that and help him out?
Sure. So I would actually correct you, because I think that you as your friend, you do know, you do pick it up, but it may be subtle, and you may think it's just a one-off.
Yeah.
You know, you may think it's just a one-off, but then you have to stop and kind of think about it. One-off meaning that you may think it may be something as simple as he usually eats dinner at 6 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock and he hasn't eaten. And that's just that, you know, oh, he's just running around. He wasn't able to do that. Then the next day, the same thing happens. That's a change in his schedule. And it could be something that simple, but you notice that he didn't eat dinner till 9 o'clock, but you may just think, oh, that's just him. Something's going on. So then you ask the questions, why didn't you eat? I mean, what happened? What's going on? You know, and I think I think that's the piece, is that it's when you're friends with somebody, you notice the subtle differences, but we often just mistake them as just, oh, that's just them, or something's going on in their life, because we're focused on what's going on with our lives. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just wanting you to notice that you probably do pick up on it already as a friend. You're around the person, so you know the differences going on. But we all got our own stuff going on, and so we may just miss it, you know. And so it's I think it's important that we don't put all the focus on it. We have to pick up on every single thing going on with our friends. Like the example that you gave with the fighter, he may have noticed something, but he missed something, so he thinks it's his fault because he wasn't able to notice his friend was depressed, and this is what happened. And so I think it's those conversations that we have, and the real conversations of what's going on in your life, what's changing, what's the positive, what's the negative. So as you're having that kind of going back and forth, because I always say that therapy is the only relationship that you get to focus on yourself. So, as we're talking, we go back and forth, right?
Yep.
This is what's going on with me. You tell me what's going on with you. We go back and forth. And oftentimes I'm just listening to tell you what's going on with me. I'm not paying attention to what's going on with you.
Well, thanks
so
for not saying, just look at him.
Well, I think it's just we're trying to put a lot of pressure on ourselves to try to figure out what's going on with everybody. And I think that it's more of for Tim to feel that he can have a conversation with you or anybody in his life. So we try to have put that out there, and that, you can talk to me, you can talk to your spouse, you can talk to this friend, you can talk to this person at school, this person at church. And so it doesn't have to be this one person that you confide in. There's other people that care about you that you can say X, Y, and Z, or have a little, something's going on with you. So I think that's more of just saying, let's not make it say, Stacy, you got to figure out what's going on with him. But let's maybe say, Tim, there's a lot of people in this world that care about you, and that they'll be willing to listen to you, that's out there. And so there's X, Y, and Z. So those are the kind of things that we try to put out there and have those kind of conversations. So it's not just limited to one person.
Whispers, one of your fans on Twitch, the Brown Note, says you're looking good as always. So I just want to share that with you, so you could feel better about yourself.
I'm back up again.
You're back. Hey, I want to ask you about a statement LeBron James made a couple of years ago, where he said he spends $1 million, maybe a couple of million per year, taking care of his body with cryotherapy and different things that he does to make sure that he's at peak performance. Do you think that as time goes by now, you're going to see more people turning to the mental side as well as the physical, and investing some of their resources and trying to make sure that they are in peak shape mentally as well?
Yes, but I think it kind of goes together. And what I mean by that is that, I'm thinking about like with the rookies, talking to them about knowing your body, right? So you need to pay attention mentally. You need to pay attention to what's going on with your body, so you know how, when you feel the different ways, your body feels when you're healthy, unhealthy, all those different pieces. That's a mental piece that you're taking that note. And so I think that goes together, as opposed to having what I'm trying to push is that let's not have somebody else tell you how your body's feeling. You should know how your body's feeling. You should figure that piece out. You should be writing that down, taking those notes. And I think that's part of that mental piece, and focusing on that, being able to use that to help you physically get to where you need to. Because we talk about that it goes together. It definitely does. But I think the more that we emphasize that how it is connected to longevity of playing, the more players actually pay attention to it.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing these players now, this generation of players now, is that a lot of these guys grew up idolizing Michael Jordan, and his mentality to the game and how he approached the game, just this iron, just razor sharp focus. And then you got Kobe came on, the late great Kobe Bryant came on with the Mamba mentality. And he had this certain thing where, he could focus and lock in, and he did what he needed to do. But everybody's not like that. And I think a lot of these players who idolize those guys came in with that mindset, I want to be like this. But they have found that they can't be like this. There's certain things they can't match. And the mental part of it is part of it. And now these guys are speaking up. And I think it's so important for them to speak up and not be afraid. And these are star players. These are not just, regular guys. These are guys that are all-star caliber players that are stepping up to the forefront, letting people know, hey, look, I'm just like you. I have issues. I have things that are on my mind that are bothering me. And I'm now letting everyone know. And they're putting themselves out on Front Street, and they're not worried about what people think. They're not concerned with people think there's something wrong with them, because I think that message needs to be, is because we are role models at this level. We have smaller kids, young kids watching these players. And you think about these kids who go through bullying, and then, they get bullied at school and they don't know how to handle it. And then they end up killing themselves. This is important for those kids to understand, like, hey, look, here's an NBA player who makes $30 million a year. He's going through the same things that you're going through. Maybe he's not being bullied, but he's having, second thoughts about certain things. And now they can look up and say, hey, you know what? He's just like me.
Yes, absolutely. You're talking, it reminded me of after DeMar hit those two back-to-back last-second shots. I was at the AC, and my son, who's 9, was with me, and wanted to talk to DeMar, to ask him, how was he able to do that? He asked him, how, I don't know the exact question, but something like, how were you able to do it? How did you do that? And DeMar's answer was perfect. He said, he said, I practiced because I wasn't confident in doing it, but I practiced. And so the more I practiced, the more confident I got. And the more I was able to feel that I can make those shots. And so I just took it. But it was just one of those, just what you're saying, that he didn't say I was great. He was great. He just said I wasn't confident at first, but I had to work at it.
Now is the scary portion of the interview where we let Whispers ask a question. You got a good question for the good doctor?
Well, yeah. So being a psychologist, this is a question that's a problem for anyone who's newly dating or married for 30 years. How do you answer the question, do I look good in these jeans?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Get this guy off the... Hey, somebody get this man. Whose man's is this? Whose man's is this?
We're sorry. I shouldn't have opened that up to
It's a serious
Whispers.
problem.
You set it up. You just set it up, and you just teed it up. I mean,
how do I look good in these jeans?
Yeah, how do you
first of all,
answer that?
don't wear anything tight. That's number one. You don't need to be wearing those skinny jeans, okay?
Is that what you said?
That's
When
what
that
I'm telling
question
you.
came up?
No, don't wear anything tight. That's for you. You're too old for that.
No, not for me.
Who's it? Oh, so somebody else?
When your lady says,
if his
"Do I look
wife
good in
asks the
these
question.
jeans?"
Oh, if your wife has
That's
it?
what I'm saying. This is a psychological
what?
issue.
Absolutely, she
know
looks
what?
great.
You look
You
great.
can't tell the
You
truth.
look awesome. Well, no, you
tell
keep
the
a happy
truth.
home.
You tell the truth.
they tell the truth.
Can you still return those?
See, Wendy, you just caused a divorce right there by him being honest.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes the truth hurts, but sometimes you don't need to let the truth out. Just let it go.
I'm saying Dr. V told me to say.
Yeah,
Dr. B said.
See, here's the thing. This is why I say you tell the truth, because if you don't, and she goes out in public, and then her girls talk to her and say, "Why are you wearing those jeans?" Right?
And then
you
you know
didn't tell
what?
her.
You need to tell them that they're not good friends. They're just jealous because they don't look good in them, honey. You wear those jeans all you want to, okay? And matter of fact, while we're at it, we're still in these Hooter shorts. Yeah. Keep a happy home, Dr. B. Stop trying to get all these. I see you over there, girl.
If you're gonna go down, you might as well go down, right? All the way.
Exactly. Dr. B, tell our listeners, because you've given us some really good information, but tell our listeners a little bit about your background and some of the work you've done with other teams, the soccer teams and college. Tell them a little bit. Let them get to know you a little bit.
Sure. So as you said, I am a psychologist, so I have my doctorate in clinical psychology. Prior to the Bulls, I was with the Olympic committee. I was with them for 8 years. So I worked with the about 16 different teams. I did 2 Winter Olympics and a Summer Olympics. Prior to that, I was at James Madison University. I used to own a company with 6 Navy SEALs called APG. Did that for about 3 years. And so we did mental training for businesses and for professional teams. I'm originally from Ghana and moved to the United States when I was about 4. Was raised in Midwest City, Oklahoma.
Oh, yes.
Woo
we have a history.
There you go.
Yes. See, I saw Stacy play back in the day when I was in, should I say, junior high?
Yes, junior high. She had a crush on me. She was too young. I tell you, hey, grow up a little bit. I knew her brothers. It's too late. You're too young. But you're still playing with dolls.
This guy.
You're still playing with dolls.
This guy.
Stacy,
I
here's
was
a quarter.
playing Brad Pitt, baby, back then too. Don't sleep.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? I'm about ready to stroke punch you.
I could have heard him back then.
You getting on my last nerve, too, Whispers.
Hey, Wendy, here's a quarter. Call me in 10 years.
Jeez.
See, Dr. B, this is what I got to deal with.
You see?
This is what I got to deal with
gosh.
on a weekly basis. You know, you never know what's going to come out of this guy's mouth over to my left. Okay, and we have corrupted Mark.
That's right.
Mark was an award-winning
Straight
journalism,
arrow.
Straight arrow, and now he's just went as crooked as I don't know what. He used to be the guy that moderated this show and made us get in line, and now he's the guy that's leading everybody. We're following him off.
Now he's instigating.
Yes, he's the instigator.
Well, we apologize. I think we're late for dinner.
We clearly need your help.
Oh. Hey, and I want to tell our listeners that she has got COVID right now. She is not doing well, and she's up and doing this interview, and we really appreciate you coming on. This is awesome because I know I wouldn't have done it, but but hey, that's why you're the best, Dr. B. That's why you the best. And we gonna win 50 games. It's gonna be a party again this year, baby. We gonna have some fun. And this is my travel partner too.
There
She's
you
on
go.
the plane. She's on the plane with me all the time. We have good talks on the plane. She's awesome.
Too.
She be
I'm
trying to
telling
wake.
you,
She be trying to wake me up when I'm sleeping. And then I'll be like, "You gonna get throat punched, bro? You're going back over. You better going back 3 seats." And she sits like 3 seats in front of me. So like, you got to go back up to your seat. I'm trying to sleep back here. Leave me alone, girl.
Oh my God, you make the travel so much fun. Let me tell you.
Well, thank you.
So much fun.
I should get paid for that. I should ask for a raise.
Oh boy.
Come on.
And she got 2 wonderful kids. She got twins. I call them the Wonder Twins. She got. They're growing up like weeds. How they doing? They having a good summer?
They are having a great summer. So my daughter's actually sick with me. She's got COVID as well. But my son is having literally the best week because we're in Oklahoma, my parents' house, and so he is. My parents are like in their 80s, so they can't entertain him. So he's literally living in nothing and being on his iPad. He's playing games. He's eating junk. I just heard them come back from Chick-fil-A. He's having his best week.
You in Oklahoma right now?
I'm in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Is it hot down there?
It's actually thunderstorms right now. It's really bad.
I'm coming down there at the end of August. OU's doing a little golf thing on the weekend. I'll be down there during the end of August. Probably catch a football game while I'm down there.
Nice.
Have you seen
Yeah,
our good
definitely
friend
back in
Kimberly?
Chicago
You seen
by
Kim?
then.
You seen Kim?
No.
Come on, man. You know what?
No.
You know what? We need to talk to her because every time we come to Oklahoma, she don't never show up. She's like, "Call me when you get here." It's another one of our good friends, America. She says, "Call us when you get here." She's that friend. When you come to Oklahoma, call me.
Yes.
We'll go get
Can't
something
find
to eat.
it.
And never answer
Can't
the
find
phone. Phone never answers. This phone has been disconnected by the user. Like, oh wait, this is the number she gave me.
Yeah, but they'll be good. But then she'll be good to post on a solid picture. Oklahoma.
Yeah. Or she'll hit you with one of these like, "Man, I'm so sorry I missed you. Man, I thought I was gonna have time to see you." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, all right, thank you."
Well, Wendy, thank you so much for putting up with our nonsense. Hope you and your daughter feel much better very soon, and all the best to your folks down there. So thank you so much for joining us.
What's up?
Thank you very much. I'm so glad that I could. This is exactly what I needed. A little boost to my day. I appreciate it.
We'll see you back in Chicago when the new season gets ready to roll. Training camp in late September. Dr. Wendy Borlabi, our special guest here on Gimme the Hot Sauce, episode 90. Episode 90 of Gimme the Hot Sauce rolls on, and Stacy, we're getting all kinds of inquiries about the hot sauce. Tell folks how they can grab a bottle for themselves.
America, trying to score the best hot sauce in the game? Well, listen up because we have a variety of flavors that will bring some spice into your life. That's right. Gimme the Hot Sauce has the best small batch organic sauces for your kitchen. Whether it's Chicago-style red sauce with a garlic twist, fan favorite, and Stacy King favorite, St. Pat's Verde. Our spicy and sweet King's Q, and you want it hot? Here's our hottest of the bunch. Ouch. Chicago Fire, 1871. So stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com. Use code HOTSAUCE21 to get 21% off your first order.
And we got a contest going on now. The 1,000th follower on Twitter.
America, our loyal listeners, our loyal followers. We have so many of you guys. Okay, we just jumped on Twitch. We're still new on Twitch, but if you go the 1,000th person on Instagram or Twitter, if you're the 1,000th follower, you will get a signed autographed bottle of my hot sauce.
Got them right behind you too for the folks on Twitch and YouTube.
So you can see the bottles right here. You see that they're autographed by me, and they're not. I'm not trying to.
We can authenticate it. We watched them sign every one.
All of them. Yeah, my fingers are hurting. There's a little bit of bottles, and I did it. Thanks, Maddie. It's all Maddie's idea. Our
Shameless.
producer. Yeah, she's shamelessly peddling bottles for me to sign, and I did it. Way to go, man!
Hey, you know what else is hurting these days are the NFL football players who've reported for duty the start of training camp. It's not like it used to be. Remember, they used to have 3-a-day practices in full pads and the Oklahoma drill, and it was just crazy. But now it's more of a civil thing. But the Bears are trying to sort things out. Some of the experts have them picked as a bottom 5 team in the league. But every year, some team rises up. Last year was the Bengals. No one thought they were going to be any good, and they ended up going all the way to the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you have Jamar Chase and you have Joe Burrow. I mean, and then you had Mixon that was a good running back. So they had three, really top players that elevated them. And when you have leaders like that in the locker room, even though they're young, it forces everybody to keep up. And, I know that their offensive line, the Bengals' offensive line, kind of let them down in the Super Bowl. If they would have gave Joe Burrow just a little bit more time, the Bengals win that Super Bowl. Chase was wide open. He beat Jalen Ramsey down to like a rug being hung up there, baby. Just beat him. And he just didn't have enough time to throw it.
Interesting development now in the NFL where players are reporting for camp and then saying, I'm here, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to ride the exercise bike. Roquan Smith is one of several stars who are staging a hold-in. The reason is you get all your money that way, even not practicing.
They can't find you.
And the organizations are powerless to do anything about it.
Smart move, Roquan. Smart move. He's one of my fantasy guys I pick up every year. Smart move. Show up. Listen, I get it. I get why they hold out. I mean, this kid's been productive since he came here.
Yeah.
And if you're the Bears, pay him. You know what I'm saying? Pay him. Do what you got to do to keep your players who've come in every single year and they've gotten better. They've improved every year. And, this is a kid that's one of the cornerstones of your franchise on the defensive end.
And it's a short career for the NFL.
Yes.
A lot of those contracts are not guaranteed. So you get a devastating injury, all of a sudden you can't play anymore.
Man.
I can understand the football players holding out because you could easily get hurt in practice. I know the Bears starting center, Lucas Patrick, was taken off on a cart today, Thursday, that we're talking about. Injuries happen even when you're not in full pads.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, when you look at all the professional sports, football is the one that kind of gets the shaft. I mean, they have to come out every year. When you see a football player sign a contract, they say, he signed a $25 million deal, okay? Really, only partial of that's guaranteed. That's the signing bonus. Whatever that signing bonus is, that's what he's going to get. And then after that, they can cut you the next year. They're not guaranteed to pay that whole contract. And these guys have to play the most physical game, professional sport-wise. They have to play the most physical, type of sport. I mean, look at some of these guys who don't play anymore. They can barely walk. You got to worry about CTE. There's so many things that after football that can affect you. They just found out Demaryius Thomas had CTE. This was a young guy. This guy was in his 30s, and he had like a second stage CTE. So, man, you feel bad for these players, and I understand what Roquan is doing. I mean, at least he's showing up and he's not getting fined and he's there. But the Bears should take care of the players that are going out there doing what they're supposed to do every year and being a staple to your team.
Only a couple of practices so far, but people are saying that Justin Fields looks good. He's throwing the ball accurately. His footwork has improved. People are down on him because last year's team had all kinds of problems. The offensive line was all torn up. They didn't really have a solid running game, and he was running for his life most of the season. My prediction is I think he's going to take a big jump in year 2. I think Justin Fields is going to show why they drafted him so highly and why he was such a good player at Ohio State.
Well, I think if you don't base it on wins and losses,
right.
You have to base it on production and what he's doing in the pocket, what he's doing moving the ball down the field. Is he making strides into becoming a quarterback in the next couple of years? It's going to be the top quarterback in the division. They also have to take into consideration their offensive line is not where it needs to be. And I think, this new general manager is going to, put that as a priority and start building that offensive line, because it doesn't matter what kind of quarterback you have back there. If he's not protected and you're just going to base it off his athleticism, let's just run him around out of the pocket, keep him safe. You still got linebackers that run 4.3, 4.4 40s. You got defensive safeties that come up and play the line of scrimmage because they know that they don't have a good offensive line, and they blitz every single time and come off that end and not allow him to get outside the pocket. And now you put him in danger out there in the open field. I don't want to see that kid get hurt, and I don't want to see the fan base turn on him when he doesn't have the protection that he needs to become a legitimate stud quarterback.
I was encouraged to see the Bears sign a couple of veteran offensive linemen. They signed Riley Reif, a veteran tackle who was a former first-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions, and they also picked up Michael Schofield, who was a starter in 12 games for the Bengals, who, as we mentioned, made it all the way to the Super Bowl last year. He's from Orland Park. He's married to U.S. Olympic hockey player Kendall Coyne. So good story, a good coming home story for Michael Schofield.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's good to see a kid come back home. He probably was a Bear fan growing up.
Yeah.
And now he's getting an opportunity to play for him. And hopefully, both those guys are huge additions on the offensive line, because I'm telling you, if they don't protect that kid, that kid's going to take a beating. And then when he's missing games due to injury because of non-protection, now who you going to blame?
Right.
Yeah, so you got to blame. You can't blame him.
And they asked Schofield, I said, were you a Bear fan growing up? He said, yeah, of course. And he said his first jersey he had was a Marty Booker, number 86. And he also had a Kyle Orton, number 9, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Orton. Like he was, like he lived in the mountains. Like he was living in the mountains.
He was the game. He was the game manager back then.
Yeah, he was like, he looked like he lived in the mountains with no cable.
Speaking of quarterback looks, you see Aaron Rodgers walking into camp.
I was going to ask you about that.
You know what? What was the first thing
Leaving
you thought of?
Green Bay.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay, Nicolas Cage. No. You know what my first thought was? No. You know what my first thought was? Couples retreat. The massage therapist that came swimming in the water and then he shakes his hair.
That's Frank Azaria.
Yeah, whoever that is. No, it wasn't him. No. Couples retreat with Vince Vaughn, and you had they went off in the couples. It was
like
Jason
Fabio.
Bateman. Yeah, he looked like Fabio.
Isn't that Frank Azaria?
No, that you're talking about Ben Stiller movie. When he was that guy, he was the massage, and he ended up sleeping with Ben Stiller's wife when they were on the honeymoon.
Is that where he says he would have to be like a hippo?
No, this guy, you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
He looked like Fabio, and he had the long hair, and then they had to cancel the class because he wasn't on time. And then he comes swimming across the lagoon, and he's got like Speedos on, and he's doing the long hair. That's the first person I thought of.
You know who else he looked like is our buddy Danny Zetterman from ESPN 1000 Radio.
Yes.
He posted a picture side by side. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah. You know what? We had a good conversation with Danny. Danny's a friend of the program.
Yep.
I've known Danny from when he first started.
He's got the long hair going.
He went from a clean cut, like little choir boy, and now he's like a rock star.
Looking like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, shaking the mane. I'm like, man, there's a lot of people wish they had that salad.
The armchair nutritionist.
Oh my God, I'm done with you whispers.
No, he is.
He
That's he has a podcast.
Is he?
Yeah.
What is it called?
He eats healthy, not
The
like us.
armchair nutritionist. You should try it out.
Let me tell you
I don't think he's going to cater the Gimme the Hot Sauce
Let me
taping.
just tell you, I'm not watching it.
Hey, why don't you tell the folks about the good people at Windy City Limo?
Oh, let me see. Hold on.
They get you here in style today?
America. Oh, yes, it did. My driver, Mike Almaroff, that's my boy. Windy City provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time like they do for me every single week, America. Contact us at 866-94-WINDY. That's 866-94-WINDY. And tell them Tim sent you.
That guarantees you won't get a discount.
You get nothing.
You get charged more.
Yeah, you get nothing. They just say go somewhere else.
Hey, did you guys see the scene at Wrigley Field on Tuesday when Willson Contreras played what was probably his final home game in a Cubs uniform? I mean, it was pretty emotional. He got a standing ovation before his first at bat, before his last at bat. The Cubs won the game. He greeted everybody as they came off the field. The thing that boggles my mind is, all right, last year you can kind of understand that they didn't want to give Chris Bryant $200 million and Javi Baez $200 million. But Willson Contreras is a catcher in his prime, and that's the hardest position to fill for a Major League Baseball team. If you are serious about winning, you build around a Willson Contreras.
Hey, listen, he made a play the other night where he threw a guy out that was at first base. It was leading off too far.
Mm-hmm. He's good at that. He
snapped through that ball to first base and got him. I was like, wow, that was an impressive play. Why would you want to get rid of this guy? You know, finding a good catcher is hard to find.
And he loves Chicago. He wants to stay. I mean, he said repeatedly that the only thing he knows, he came, from a foreign country, comes here at the age of 14. He's been in the organization for like 16 years, and he wants to finish his career as a Cub. And yet the Cubs had, as bad as they've been this year, they had 2 All-Stars, Willson Contreras and Ian Happ, and it looks like they might trade both of them before next Tuesday's trade deadline.
Well, you just kind of wonder, what direction are you going to?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, are you trying to save money, cost cutting? I mean,
ding, ding.
But I mean, when you have a guy like that who has been in your organization since he was, 15, 14 years old, however, and he wants to stay here, And I'm sure, he's not asking to break the bank, but what's market value for, an all-star caliber catcher? You let Rizzo, who should have retired a Cub, go. You let, Baez and Chris Bryant. And, yeah, you would have had to make a decision on the three of those players, okay? Which one of those guys, three guys do we want to keep? And I probably would have said Rizzo.
I agree.
I mean, Rizzo is like Mr. Cub. I mean, Rizzo's going to come out every single day. He's going to give you max effort. He doesn't get hurt. You see what he's doing for the Yankees right now.
And he's a great guy in the community. All the work he's done with the Children's Hospital.
Yes. I mean, now those are the kind of guys that you want that come in here and typify what you want your ball club to be like. And so when you got a guy like that, you want to hold on to him and he's still productive. It's not like, oh, well, he's not producing, so let's get rid of him. He's producing now for the Yankees the last 2 years. So I wish they would stop doing that. But hey, that's why I'm just a man.
Yeah, there's been some talk that they may spend big in free agency next winter. But we'll see. I mean, if you're going to spend next winter, why don't you give Willson Contreras an extension and start now?
But Mark, I mean, you're not willing to spend the money on the guys that you have here that are all-star caliber players now. So what makes people think you're going to go out there and Carlos Correa, who's going to be a free agent next year? What makes you think you're going to go out there and spend $250 million, $300 million? Because he's going to command $300 million. So
right.
And you were supposedly in the talks this year. Obviously, it wasn't where he wanted the money to be. That's why he went to where he went, Minnesota.
And he didn't want to be in a total rebuild like the Cubs are headed towards.
And that's what I'm saying. And I don't think any star player, even though Chicago is a great city to play for, the Cubs have a great fan base. I don't see anyone wanting to come here and be the main piece to a bunch of young kids that may be coming up from AAA and, a bunch of young players who don't have a lot of experience, because then the pressure falls on that player every day. If they're not winning, oh, he's overpaid. It's this and that. And that players don't want to be part of that.
You got the Yankees cap. You're rocking that today. Aaron Judge is a free agent. You think Aaron Judge would sign with the Cubs?
Hell no.
Yeah.
No, because the Yankees ain't letting him go. Yeah. He's not. He's just starting to go into his prime right now. This is a guy that is a difference maker for you offensively. He's as big as he is. He's a very good defensive player in the outfield.
38 homers right now.
Yeah, this is a guy that you can pencil in at least 30 or more home runs a year. They're not letting that go. Yankees know what they got in Aaron Judge. He came up through their program, came up through their farm system. Nah, not happening.
How about that White Sox loss yesterday? Did you catch that? Graveman walked 3 straight guys and then get a little opposite field single. I mean, every time you think they're starting to turn it around, they go the other way. They're stuck at 500. They're only 3 games out, but it feels like they're 100 games out with the way they're playing.
It's just like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. You just like you said, Mark. You think they're getting ready to turn the corner, and they're getting ready to go on this really crazy run, and then they come back. They come back down to earth and they lose.
We got to send Dr. B over there.
Yeah,
straighten that out.
We might need to do that, man, or send Ozzy over there.
That might get ugly. Yeah, that might get really ugly.
How about the Sky, baby?
Oh yeah,
but we can't leave without talking about the Sky, baby. The Sky, Chicago Sky, America. It's Chicago's team right now in the summertime. Right, they are hooping,
rolling towards another championship.
They got a legit shot to win another back-to-back titles. And you know what, America? I keep trying to get Sky tickets. I'm telling the Sky, hey, give me the Hot Sauce Crew. We had, ever since, Coach Wade came on and Allie Quigley came on, they've been rolling, So how about giving some tickets? We don't turn nothing down but our collar. We don't ask for nothing for free, but we don't turn it down either.
What did you think of the format they had for that Commissioner's Cup, where the winning team gets $30,000 a player and the losing team gets $10,000? That's going to guarantee, especially as underpaid as these ladies are, they're going to play their hardest.
Yeah, they're going to play their hardest. It's not like an all-star game where guys are going to let people, girls are going to let people go to the basket. They're trying to play hard, and they're grossly underpaid. Come on, start paying these girls what they're worth, so they don't have to go overseas like Brittany Griner, who's on trial right now in Russia. We hear now that Biden has basically said, hey, the trade, they're going to trade some Russian people that have them here for her. Hopefully that goes through.
Gets done quickly.
Get her
home.
She's been over there in 160 plus days.
It's ridiculous.
It's
taking
too long.
This long.
It's too long. And she's a basketball player. She's not a spy. She knows. I mean, she didn't. It's not like she, what she had. From what I heard, it was a pen. It was a pen of cannabis oil in it. It wasn't like she had a bag full of 10 pounds of marijuana.
Right. She wasn't trying to distribute anything.
Exactly. So,
right.
But again, like I said, you got to, these, when you go to a foreign country, you better know the rules. Yeah. Okay, because they don't have the same kind of freedom and luxury that we have here in the United States. And just because something may be legal here, it's not legal over there. So you got to watch where you go.
Whispers, tell the folks about your friends at Angel Water.
Yes, I've been waiting. I'm getting a little parched.
Right here.
Yes, there it is right there.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Put some effort into it.
It's a
a
new
little
read.
energy.
Listen up, Bulls Nation. We want to make water healthier for you, for your home. Jeez.
Come on,
I'm
Whispers.
still looking at hot sauce
Listen,
misspelled up above.
we just had Dr. B here. Learn how to play through these things. Be mentally strong.
Okay, I'll try.
You can tell.
Just look at me.
Just look at him.
So look no further than our favorite new water here in the Hot Sauce Studios, Angel Water. The company is on a mission to provide water free of the toxins and chemicals that can cause long-term damage to your health. We thank them for providing Gimme the hot sauce
Here it is right here.
water. So, jeez.
Tim, after every 3 beers, has a bottle of water.
America.
Stay hydrated, right?
I'm due for
Stay
one.
hydrated.
A beer, that is. That's call 847-382-7800 and get a free water test today.
What's that phone number again for the folks?
847-382-7800.
Yes. And ask for Chief Little Legs. That's handy.
And you know what's going to happen? They're going to give Tim a call after they hear the podcast and go, can somebody else do our read?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Wait. First of all, Andy Willson, the owner of this beautiful Angel Water, soft purified water, and he's giving us all these bottles of water to drink.
Is that him on the bottle?
Yeah, I don't know. No, that thing's too tall. But
Jeez.
wow. But Andy Willson,
another sponsor gone away.
No, he ain't going nowhere. Right. Andy Willson knows. Andy Willson knows. Like, this is him and Tim go back way back, and we're all boys. Okay, we're all boys. So when you call Angel Water Soft, honestly, he does a great job over there, and the water is absolutely unbelievable. I already had 2 bottles already, and I think I've got my rations because I think we only have like 8 left. So, Andy, don't be afraid to send another case over, buddy.
And after the show, you get to autograph those bottles of water, too. We didn't tell you that till now.
See, that's like Maddie's over there. That's a great idea. Let's get these bottles of water autographed.
I offered him a new slogan, you can drink out of your toilets, but he didn't go with it.
That's disgusting, man. That's disgusting.
I thought it was a good call.
That's just, there's another sponsor gone.
Wow.
I thought we had him forever, but he's gone.
Hey, we want to thank all our friends joined us on the live stream on Twitch and YouTube. And one of the comments from Mahogany Woods Poppy says the Bears are plus 150 to get more than 6 wins. So is that a good bet for you? More than 6 wins?
Plus 150.
17 games now. So.
Oh man, you know what? I think they're going to win.
7-10.
I plus 150.
I think they might
go
not
7.
Bad. I think they might win 7 games.
We're heading to the bookie right after this.
Yeah, we might have to go down there. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I can see that.
America, I'm not a gambler. I'm not a gambler. I'm sorry.
I'm doing it.
Well, this isn't a gamble. Our poll question for this week is which Bulls championship team was the strongest? Because you can only fit 4 on a poll, we picked the 91 champions, the 92, 96, and 97 as your 4 options. 57% of you say yes, the 72-10 team of 1996 was the Bulls' strongest. 26% go with Stacy's 1992 champions that beat the Trailblazers in 6 games when Stacy and the reserve group led that fourth quarter comeback.
Mark, I'm glad you gave my respect. I'm glad you remembered what I did. Okay?
That's right.
But America, I would love to, if we could actually have that game, like we could play the 72-10 team versus that 91-92 team. That'd be a hell of a matchup because you're getting baseball Michael Jordan and back hurting Scottie Pippen towards the end of his career. You're getting prime Michael in his superpowers, the height of his superpowers, and the height of Scottie's superpowers on that 91-92 team, plus Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright. That would have been a great matchup. And John Paxson, BJ, Scott Williams. Like I believe our bench was stronger than their bench. And I believe with a prime Michael and a prime Scottie.
Hey, speaking of Scott Williams, I saw on Twitter he asked if he could sleep in your house. Did that ever happen?
You know what? Tank was coming to watch the White Sox play. He wanted me to go watch the White Sox game, and then of course, he's more than welcome to come to the Thug Mansion. And there's only certain people I let come to the Thug Mansion. Okay, Scott's family. He's one I let go in there. I thought I let Tim in there, but we got a doghouse in the backyard.
That's napping.
No.
Yeah, we do have a space though. I have room for.
Is Scott still in town? He should roll on by.
I don't know, man. I gotta find Tank. Tank is like, he's like the, Howard Hughes. You think you know where he's at, and he's somewhere else.
I saw he posted something. He was at Wrigley Field, I think, at a game earlier this week. So
where's Waldo? Where's Scott? He's everywhere.
So, Scott, if you're listening, you're always welcome to come out to the Hustle and Flow Studios in Palatine.
Yes, we're gonna start bringing guests out here.
That's
now.
right.
You know, and
as long as Tim's got those kegs loaded, they'll be happy to come by.
That's what brings them in.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. We might have to bring him out here, man, because we got a really nice setup out here. You know, and it's a lot. We have a lot of fun in here, and you know, look at our little Sriracha Crew out here. You know,
doing a great job as always. We appreciate all our efforts.
Look at them, just sitting back here. You know, these guys make the show go. These are the people behind the scenes. I wish we had a camera that you could see everybody.
Yeah.
But you just have to take my word for it, America.
And our guy Nicky Knuckles got a job over at ESPN Radio. Congratulations to Nick.
Congratulations to Nick. Look at Nick. There's Nick coming up there right now. There he is right there.
He said that new haircut. Remember he showed it off last week?
He got that new haircut, and that's the reason why he got the job.
Yeah, that does.
Because before he had like a Wayne's World mullet, and that's why he couldn't get any interviews. So they say, nah, this dude he's gonna do something. So he finally cut that mullet off that was down to his back, and now he got a job.
I never make it the
Yeah, it'd be a tough invite for you, Nicky.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate their efforts. We appreciate everybody on Twitch and YouTube, and we thank Dr. Wendy for joining us and putting up with our nonsense here on episode 90 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. As you look at the credits of all our great people that are helping us out on the show.
You know what, Mark? I've been thinking about it. I didn't know we was 90 today. That's impressive. Yeah. You know, I mean, 90. Not too many people last this long.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have.
Good ad lib, Tim.
We're gonna have to have some kind of celebration when we get to 100.
He's still thinking I was asking him if I look good in my jeans. So I'm still sweating over that.
Listen, I mean, when I saw the jeans that you had like in the 80s with the butts was hanging out of them, you cut the pockets out and your butt cheeks was hanging out of them like
my chaps.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that's what I thought you was talking about. I was like, oh Lord, no, we're not talking about that.
I thought you were talking about my Cavaricis.
Oh my God, I'm done. We done got off the track again. Cavaricis.
Hey, before we say goodbye, if you are following us on Twitch or YouTube, make sure to follow at Gimme the Hot Sauce on Instagram and Twitter and all other social media. And if you're sampling Stacy's signature sauces, make sure to tag us. Use the hashtag capital GTHS. That stands for Gimme the Hot Sauce, GTHS, for a chance to be featured on our page. And who knows, you might even win a bottle of hot sauce autograph for the one and only Stacy King.
Before we take this off here, I have a complaint.
Uh-oh.
I have a complaint. Okay, Hot Sauce Crew. Come on, you got to spell my name right on the thing. Go
oh
back
no,
to
they
that.
spelled your name wrong.
Go back to that. Go back to that read. Yeah. Who did that? Go back to that read.
They're all pointing fingers at each other. Yeah.
You did it. Let's go. Go back.
My goodness.
Hey, America. Look, Stacy King's Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast. My name is not spelled Stacy.
Oh my goodness.
It's
somebody's
E-Y.
getting fired, America.
Look at him.
Somebody's getting fired, America.
Ladies and gentlemen, there it is right there. They threw him under the bus.
Oh.
It's Cisco the Thong Song Man. Oh,
that is cold.
Hey, hot sauce is misspelled on the read. I don't want to keep going down.
I think we better get out of here before some more people lose their jobs.
Boy, some people struggling behind the scenes today.
Nick's making a note. Make a note of that. Stacy with an E.
It's an E-Y.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's Whispers with an H.
It's time for Whispers to get another beer. Time for us to get on out of here. D, play the outro.
It's only preseason, but I'm hyped, Bill. Jimmy
Drive home safe in Chicago.